So obviously this could be a tad embarrassing for them to talk to me and obviously, you know, do a little compare and contrast on why should we trust you with food when you've behaved so well in the past with your chemical wing. We're outside Monsanto's gates right now, and we've got a cow here, and we've got a Vietnam veteran, and we've got a disgruntled farmer. And what we want to do is just have a quick chat, see if we can hand some of this back to someone.
It's not going to be possible.
Watch the cow pack, mate. Watch the cow pack.
You might remember, Mark, one of your colleagues contacted us about 2 weeks ago to ask us to participate in the programme.
Right.
And we explained at the time why we didn't feel we could participate.
Right.
And you with a statement, which I hope you've got. If not, I can always get someone there to...
No, we have got your statement, which is very nice, which is kind of like fuck off in PR, which was great. And it's one of the nicest fuck off in PRs that I've ever had. But what I was wondering was the non-involvement of Monsanto a reflection of the advice given by Burson Marsteller about staying off the killing fields? Burson Marsteller are a PR company who specialise in damage limitation and controversial PR. They work with people like the Exxon Valdez. Do you remember the big spillage? They did stuff for Union Carbide and Bhopal. They work for a few regimes with not, you know, absolutely snow-white human rights records. This is the leaked document they produced for the biotech industries. Basically, they're giving PR advice on how the genetic companies should behave. Public issues of environmental and human health risk are communication killing fields for the bio-industries in Europe. Stay off them. The strategy must be to stay off these killing fields no matter how provocative the invitation to enter upon them may be. And they've said the best way to put your case forward is to use symbols, not logic. Are they frightened of chatting with us about the issues? I mean, because I've actually kind of like... No, I've got kind of like all sorts. I've got all sorts of information and stuff at my fingertips here, and we're quite prepared to talk to anyone about it from Monsanto, and that's very cool as far as we're concerned. If anyone wants to come out and talk to us, we'd actively like to do that.
It would be cool to have a sensible discussion, but I'm not quite sure that we get that, or that we get a balanced discussion with you either, Mark. Anyway, we've given you our response, so I'm afraid that'll have to be that. But nice to talk to you. Bye bye.
It was a pleasure talking to you, PR man. He was a PR man and a half. Look at the steam coming off of that arse. There is a certain poetic symmetry and justice in bullshit. Genetic companies are, in fact, collecting and copywriting human genes. They're collecting your genes, so you don't own your genes anymore. If they copyright your gene, you don't own it, they own it, and they can use it for whatever commercial purposes they choose, which is kind of moral theft in my book. There's a guy called Lord Simon. Lord Simon was the chairman of BP. He is now used by the Labour government, works in the DTI, and he is the European Minister for Competitiveness in Europe and all European competitive hurrahs. And he's the man who's going to sign all the documents that say, yes, you can take all our genes and rip us off. I wonder if you could get my office. My name's Lord Simon. If you could get 5455, get my secretary. I've got an itinerary up there. Because I think I'm supposed to be in Brussels, or is it Luxembourg? I don't know.
The best thing you can do is actually speak to one of those gentlemen there. They'll be able to tell you who you probably are or are not.
We could breed women with enormous clitorises, like fruit pastels if we so wanted. And then no one would ever, of course, be frightened of trying to find it. We could actually make a luminous clitoris. We could make one that shouted. We could give a clitoris a mouth that could shout, I'm down here, help, help, rub me, gently. I was just passing. I just need to get in to use your lavvy, if that's all right. Thank you ever so much, that's very nice. Hello there. Hello there, Lord Simon for Newsnight.
Sorry?
Lord Simon Newsnight.
I've got Lord Simon. Yeah, hold on.
Thank you ever so much. Hello? Well, I've popped in to give a statement. I'm prepared to talk about the EU and any kind of genetic engineering. in exchange for Kirsty's number.
We also went to his home, and I was out. So I left a note for myself saying, Dear Lord Simon, I am Lord Simon, or I might be your clone. I don't know. Either way, if I am Lord Simon and you're my clone, then you're in my house, can I have the keys?
Wouldn't mind living there if I am me.
We found out, some people told us a story, that Sellafield contract workers were working outside. In the summer they were being told to cover up their forearms because the seagull shit was contaminated and was radioactive. Which is a tad weird, I think, on a scale of weird to sort of really weird / Anne Widdecombe. It's very weird. We actually thought, wow, that's wild, we should go up there. And we tried to get some people on camera, but they obviously wouldn't come on camera because the Sellafield pay their wages. So we actually had to go up to Sellafield and get seagull droppings and took them along to a laboratory, got them tested.
This is very interesting. That line there is cesium-137. We've also got another isotope in there which is called cesium-134, and they both come from Sellafield. So the fact that we get both these here shows that we have a Sellafield originating nuclide. That's the fingerprint.
So we have now scientifically proven the link between Sellafield nuclear waste and contaminated radioactive seagull shit. We then made up a few kind of like boards, these boards that detailed the story of how the waste got into the seagull shit and what could happen. We made this kind of freestanding exhibit, and then we bum rushed the Sellafield Visitors Centre. Just hold it here a sec. Just hold it here a sec. We're now in the main gallery of the Sellafield Visitors Centre. And we've erected this up, and I've decided to become a kind of tour guide and speak people through what's happening on this particular bit of the exhibit.
These are acceptable levels of waste. Is there any chance that we could have a chat with someone about seagull droppings?
I've asked our public relations department to come across.
Oh, fantastic. So they'll have a chat with us.
They come and have a chat. They'll be with you in a couple of minutes.
OK,
but
that's
meanwhile,
lovely.
If you'd like to take that down, please.
Me. Hello, easy. What's it? Lovely, easy to me. Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah, my name's Mark Thomas. This is part of our exhibit. We've got like waste coming out here. Yeah. From Sellafield. This gets eaten up here by the fish. Okay, and then it gets into seagulls, and then of course it comes out of the seagull's bottom.
Yeah, back again.
And it could hit you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what kind of a threat irradiated droppings are. But bird crap at the best of times isn't very nice. If it's got cesium-137 or 134 in it, that would be not a good thing. We came in here with our exhibit today.
Indeed.
And
fairly unannounced.
Well, completely unannounced.
Completely
I think
unannounced,
there's fairly is kind of not true at all. And we were very politely ushered out.
Yeah.
And we've
of
got
the centre for good reasons.
The question is have there been any tests done on radiation in seagull droppings?
Right, okay. I mean, where do you want me to start? Because you've got a whole bunch of issues here.
Well, just have there been any tests done?
Have there been any tests done of radiation in seagulls?
Looking for seagull droppings and radiation.
There are, for example, surveys done...
Is that a yes then?
There are... I mean,
well, it's just... I don't mean to be rude, but it's just...
If you want a yes or a no,
yes.
The answer is yes.
If there is radiation getting into the seagull and dropping out from the bottom, I find that quite worrying.
Why is that?
Well, radiation